Hey, bro, it's a packed house in here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to KF&JF podcast, man. I tell you, today is one of those days where we all going to get excited about our guest because what he's got to offer us here today is not just for today, it's for every day. It's some love of a unique type of business, and we want to make sure we give him the opportunity to introduce that business. But I'm going to tell you right now, I'm excited about it, and I'm kind of my mouth is a little watering about it too. So I think that may give you guys a little hint when we get ready to talk about, man. So instead of going on into all of that, man, I really want to tell you guys again, thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys for listening to us. Thank you guys out there for going to thejoybeloved.com and making those purchases where we can get ourselves out there to bring more people to you guys. But first and foremost, as you guys we're going to introduce this co-host of ours and let him talk about the businesses that he's out there helping.
Hello, everybody. I'm Razak. I am the CEO and founder of United Minority Business Ventures. My purpose is to help small businesses grow, and I assist with the creative process and maintenance of your business. And the method to achieve results is simply building a deeper relationship with your audience or your followers, with your customers. And we do this by forming opportunities to communicate and collaborate with your followers, your subscribers, and other business owners. And we do this by using a wide range of networking tools. We have an understanding for building your marketing profile, your social media marketing, the figuring out your marketing strategy, or building your financial profile for your business. We also assist with branding your product or merchandise. We may also determine what licenses is needed to operate your business. Are you owning your domain, or are you buying into pre-existing sites that host your page? We'd like to try to drive traffic and manage your website, and that allows me to select posts that create subscriptions, comments, and likes. We also assist by generating comments on other individual business sites or page that create a dialogue of conversation directed towards your page. And Big Jim, I'm glad to have you on the show today.
Thank you guys for having me here, man. I really appreciate this, man. Really do.
Yeah, we really thank you too, Jim. And one of the things that we're excited about is that you're in a business that really in our culture is something that is well known, and one of those things that we really do appreciate because it serves not only so many different people that are out there as far as the needs that they have, but let's go ahead and have you introduce yourself and tell us about that.
Well, first and foremost, my name is Jason Sevier, born and raised here in San Diego, the great Dago, you know what I'm saying? I originated up in Emerald Hills on the backside of Johnson Elementary. My family, we grew up there, all of the Seviers. I'm the youngest of the clan, I should say. There's 5 of us. So my sister next to me, I'm 49, she's 59. So that's the sister next to me. And plus I have another sister, Cheryl, my brother Jimmy, and then my older sister Gwen. So we've been around San Diego for a pretty long time. We were members, we were members of the OG Calvary Baptist Church, the big pink church up under the bridge. We were members there since, before I knew what daylight was, and especially before they knew what daylight was. We're members of Mount Erie now. So I think I have, outside of the military, I think I've only left San Diego probably about 4 or 5 times. So this is my home. I was born at Kaiser. I'll probably be buried at Mount Hope. That's just what I am. I stay rooted in the San Diego Southeast soil, and I love it to death. I love it to life. Excuse me. Use better words. I love it to life.
Well, San Diego is a important place to me, and I'm really happy that we're going to have this conversation about a place that I guess we have a little bit in common. So I'd like to ask you, tell me a little bit about the business that you started up with your family, or how you got that.
Well, it was basically, wanting to cook. I felt, at peace. Every time I'm in the kitchen, there was a calming, there was a peace. You're washing dishes, you're in and out of the oven, microwave, air fryer, whatever. There was always a calm and a peace. One of the things that I wasn't allowed to do, being the runt of the family, brothers and sisters that are teenagers, and I might have been 5, 6 years old or whatnot. I wasn't allowed in the kitchen. Having 3 sisters, there was always, food made for me, blah, blah, blah. So, I joined the military, and one of the first things, I wasn't a cook in the Navy. So when I joined the Navy, I had a different type of job in communications and healthcare. One of the things that I found was that when I did my kitchen duty, because they have what's called mess cranking. When I was doing my kitchen duty, I'd never felt so at home, and alive than when I was in the kitchen. When I was smaller, in Calvary Baptist Church, my father, James Sevier, who the business is named after, affectionately called Big Jim. We're members of Mount Erie, and one of his best friends is Pastor Walter G. Wells, and he named him Big Jim back in the, I want to say the late 50s or whatnot. So my father was, and my godfather, James Thomas, were the culinary cooks of Calvary Baptist Church. So, me, my dad, my godfather, I was never in church. I was always down in the kitchen. I was on the usher board. So after I, finished the youth ushering, I made my way down to the kitchen. So it's always been a secondary place for me was in the kitchen. It was a calming place for me. And I was always learning and watching my father and my godfather creating these culinary masterpieces for, one of the, well, if not the largest African-American church here in San Diego. On a smaller note, watching my sisters create, large meals for a family of 7, my father, my mother, and 5 kids. It was always something where I was watching and just absorbing and learning. So in the creation of the business, it was one of those things where it was like, this is what you're supposed to do. I have my regular 9-to-5 job, but I think that I was put here on this earth to do something with food, and not necessarily just eating it. And it's preparation, it's shopping, it's networking, it's everything that has to do with food. Now, with the business that I have created, I've also started a nonprofit to where I'm helping and creating meals every Sunday morning for the underserved and unhoused in the Barrio Logan and downtown community. I serve up to 175 to 200 hot meals every Sunday morning downtown.
Right.
So I just, I really wanted to, sit back and take the whole big picture in from when I was knee high to a horsefly to right now, to where I can, just kind of put stuff together. And this is where I needed to be. This is where I wanted to be. And ultimately I felt that this is where the good Lord designed me to be. So if this is his design, then you know what? Let me walk in to my footsteps and stand in where I'm supposed to be.
Okay.
Well, you know what? Razak may not like what I'm getting ready to say because usually I try not to go into me. It's all about you, my friend. Where me and you,
I understand.
we are on the same page because that's exactly how I feel as a cook when I at the restaurant. Is that
Mm.
going to the store, buying bulk food, going through the places and all these different avenues, just looking at and thinking what I can create on the fly with leftovers, how I can make. I'm choked up, folks. I'm choked up on this because this is one of those things that I just think is unique because not everybody truly understands what it means to want to cook, because we
Yeah.
learn a lot of this, like you said, from your sisters and your other family members who are around. They don't really think you know what you're doing sometimes, but man, let me stop because that's just I'm going to get a little bit into
Well,
more of that, but
I'm glad to hear that we have
I
something in
am.
common, brother, and I love it.
Oh man,
I
we got
absolutely love
we got something. I done had a restaurant. I know exactly where you're going, and I
it.
feel you. But I'd like to know if you could tell us a little bit about something unique about you that most people don't know about you.
Well, to be honest, I feel like my uniqueness is the obvious, man. It's just my desire and passion that I'm continuously thriving and throwing into this arena. Um, back in the early 80s, at Calvary Baptist Church, I want to say it was about 83, 82, 83. I might have been like 7 or 8 years old. They started this program called the Share program through St. Vincent de Paul, where it was feed. It was actually, we would go down to I think it was like Veterans Village, and pick up a whole bunch of food, and we would lay this food out, and people would drive in cars, and just everybody would get a box of food. That was my first, observation of seeing the generosity of I don't want to say the Baptist church, the church itself, period. And, the hand that it gave, out to the community. And that stuck with me forever. Like, these people don't have to do this stuff. But you know what? This is the design. This is, everything that pulls on your heartstrings. And I love it. I love that the good Lord saw something in me to where he's like, you know what? I'm going to bless this kid, with talent and time to go ahead and be a blessing to others. So I see life as, what else is there to do? I mean, what am I supposed to be doing except this? Right. Every day, I think more and more of, how can I turn 175, 200 into 220? Do I have enough money? Because I'm doing this out of my own pocket. Right. How can I turn the 225 into 250? And I'm not giving them top ramen. I'm not giving them peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. No pun intended. Last Sunday, I smoked 3 cases of chicken. So they had smoked chicken, they had green beans, they had rice, bottled water, and soda. So I'm not just handing out, just any old mediocre. These people are getting a full, good, hot meal. So, when you ask that question, I just, I go back to, how much detail, how much thought, and basically the overall big picture is how blessed I am to continue to keep doing this, brother.
Right.
And I just keep asking every day, through my daily prayers, like, Lord, I pray that you would keep allowing me to be a vessel, for someone out there. Someone out there is on the verge of taking their life. Someone out there is on the verge of, smoking their last, where I'm going with this.
Right.
I'm just trying to be one portion of humanity where they're like, you know what, there is hope. And I cannot stop. So I just, keep praying that I'm able to continue to keep pushing and keep pushing forward, and to be innovative and meet brothers like you that, I could have never thought of anything like this, man. I'm still in the 14th grade, bro. Just saying.
Oh man, I'm so proud of you, man. Just off the top, because you out there putting yourself out there to help others, man. That is God's work right there. You're doing that, and I just can't tell you how excited I am. Just thinking about all of the things that I see in what you're doing, because I think that resonate in me too, and it's a little bit of why this podcast is doing what we're trying to do here, is because we're trying to give back in whatever way we can, and so one of the other questions I'm going to ask, and then I'm going to send it over to Razak and try to do that, is when you think about your business, have you found any kind of like resistance when you're like negativity in the business of restaurant, or as you've been building this business?
Well, I tell you what, brother, this is California, San Diego to be exact. So there is, endless hurdles that you have to be patient before you jump. You can't just say, oh yeah, I'm making plates now and I'm about to go sell this. Nah, brother, it don't work like that sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Man. So you have to be creative. You have to read. There is rules to this stuff, man. So a few of the hurdles that I was looking at was just certification. You've got to, I wouldn't want to, you got to have your food handler's card. You got to have your food manager's card. You got to have a business plan. You got to have your LLC. You got to have your health permits. There's a lot of stuff that you really need to sit down, map out first, before you go jumping straight into the deep end, because that deep end gets really deep, man. If you ever jump onto the Department of
Health and Human Services,
the Health and Human Services, if you jump on their website, you can get discouraged quick, because there's a lot of red tape that you have to get through. So if I was to give any type of encouragement to anybody, the first piece of encouragement I would give you was be patient. Be patient. Rome wasn't built in a day. So just be patient.
I hear you on that.
Going, trying to get all your certifications. For my LLC, that took money, time. You had to, wait on that. And then ultimately, I wanted to be able to serve, the underserved and unhoused of the community, waiting for a nonprofit, for them to say yay or nay. That's a long process in itself, but one thing that I can say, and I'm not going to bash anybody else, but I pray that we're on the same page, man, is starting your endeavors with prayer first. It kind of opens up the busy freeways, the busy avenues. I told the good Lord that this is what I wanted to do. And if I'm in alignment, I pray that, you would keep pushing me forward, If you see me veering off the road, smack me back on track. And I'm just thankful that as I get older, I'll be 50 coming up shortly in the summertime. And, I'm just thankful that the lumps and the bumps that I've taken on, didn't take me out of this world. So there's still some purpose in my life. And I'm just praying that I continue to stay aligned with that purpose and, align me with the right people, align me with the right equipment, align me with the right timing. And you know what? Most of all, just help me to be patient. Just help me to be patient. My parents always told me everything comes with prayer and patience. Prayer and patience.
100.
So my biggest hurdle sometimes was my own self.
Yeah, that's what they say. What they say.
That's saying. Go ahead, Razak. You have any questions you want to ask right now?
Yeah, whew, man. Okay, so you just gave us a lot of information, and
Mhm.
like I always say, we are here to inform the public about what's going on and about you and about your company.
Mhm.
So, were there any influential people or mentors who guided you during the early stages of your journey?
There was a bunch. I mean, just first and foremost, my father. I watched my dad as I grew up. My older brother Jimmy as well. I didn't get much training from my dad because I was a little runt. So my brother, he's teaching my brother how to do ribs. If you've ever had my father's ribs, it's kind of like what is that? King Midas's silver or the fountain of youth. You found something because my dad was one heck of a barbecue cook. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
all of that, bro. He, I'm telling you, man, him and my godfather. So first and foremost, I have to say my father. Watching what he did and when I say Calvary Baptist Church, if you know anything about that, that is probably the largest church back then when the congregation, was really together. You were looking at every Sunday of over 400 people, in a service, and he would be doing the feeding and everything, coordinating. And I would sit back and I would watch everything that he was involved in, him and my godfather, James Thomas. So my first mentor in cooking would be my father. Watching everything that he did, and watching him getting on his knees and praying, for his time, talents, and efforts. He showed me, what a man is supposed to do, and a man, took care of his family. He went to work and took care of his church. His second job was his church. His first job was his church. So just, you say influence, it would be my father. Secondly, we brought it up in just general chatter and funny conversation. Um, Huffman's and Fargo's barbecue. If you know anything about San Diego, naturally Huffman's, the main artery of San Diego is
Yeah, yeah,
Imperial Avenue. So you're gonna pass by Huffman's barbecue, but there was always a second jewel within the Southeast community. If you keep going just a little bit further down Imperial Avenue on the right hand side in the Encanto neighborhood, it was Fargo's
yeah,
barbecue.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and I'll go back a little bit further. It's R&M barbecue in the old, right above the old Imperial traffic circle. My father
Mhm.
used to visit all of those places, because he had a vision or whatever at one point to, starting a business, back then in the 80s, 70s, 80s, there wasn't much education for, starting a business, especially, a busy man with 5 kids and, you know, keeping up his home and his marriage and everything. So, secondly, when I say the businesses, was because of my dad's vision and my dad's dream, um, was seeing those businesses thriving in this community. R&M Barbecue, Fargo's, Huffman's. Moving down the line, I had a vision that I always wanted to own a barbecue, like a rib shack, a real rib restaurant. You look at some of the uh, television shows where they talk about a rib shack. I really wanted Stone Cold barbecue restaurant, and we go back a little bit talking about some of the hurdles, a brick and mortar restaurant in California, San Diego to be exact, is I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's really hard. It's really hard. There's a lot of stuff, red tape, hurdles, real estate. There's a lot of stuff that you have to kind of dig your heels in and be a little savvy, business savvy and real estate savvy, knowing what you want to do. So,
Right.
in backtracking of your question, what were some of my um, mentors? Naturally, it was my father, and then just the visual, seeing these thriving businesses in the neighborhood where I grew up. Man, Fargo's, Huffman's, and
Right.
R&M Barbecue. Man, we talk about it the 3 businesses that no longer exist. But I'm just saying there was a part of my upbringing, and I'm pretty sure if anybody is watching, especially you, my brother, we frequented Imperial Avenue, and you ran into all 3 of them.
Yeah. That's where I worked, and that's also where I ate. A lot of time at Green Cat Liquor Store, sweeping that parking lot late at night as a kid.
Oh yeah,
boy.
Would you say there was a particular moment that was would you could consider a turning point? And by turning point, saying like from the time that you started your business or even had the ideas, and then you progress. So you started cooking, you started doing that, and just like you said, you had some setbacks, you had some things that might detour the average person, but you was dedicated, and then you started adding on more stuff. Then you said, "Hey, I'm going to do this on too." What were those turning points that made you do that?
Through my Masonic Lodge, and I have to give props to those brothers of Fidelity Lodge number 10, Prince Hall Free and Accepted Masons here for the state of California. I joined. I became a member of Freemason in 2010, and a portion of the meetings, we have our lodge meetings and everything. And when we have our lodge meetings, we also have, at the end of it, we have what's called a repast. So Fidelity Lodge over here off of 30th and Logan, we meet on every first and third Friday at 7:00. So, you get off at 5:30, 6 o'clock or whatever. You run home, you put on your black suit, we end meeting for, hour and a half, 2 hours. It's 9 o'clock. Man, you hungry? One of the things that I had kind of fallen into the role of in the lodge was making sure that we had, I don't want to say adequate, but we had a good repast. These brothers will talk about you in a heartbeat if your food ain't good. Oh man, in a heartbeat. And that was one of the things that kind of sparked my interest in wanting to push forward, because, every now and again, if somebody tells you, man, you fast, or man, you can jump high, or man, you got a nice 3-point shot, or, man, you can sing, girl, you can sing. You hear it over and over and over again. Well, maybe it's time for you to believe in what they're saying. So, after a while of, 3-4 years of, cooking, doing that, cooking for the church, I was starting to see myself lining up as an adult with the same thing my pops was doing. And I'm thinking, well, could this be, is this something, a direction, that I could be going? Because you know what, in Southeast San Diego, you're going to go left or you're going to go right. And, we all know where if you turn left, Mount Hope's got a lot of my homeboys up there.
Yeah.
A lot of them, man. And God rest their soul and bless their family.
Yeah.
But I knew what direction that I wanted to go, and I wanted to stay on that. So it was one of those things where it's kind of like fear. Fear takes over a lot of people. But one thing that we're all born with that we have to continue to feed is our faith. So when they talk about faith over fear, I'm still trying to figure out, what I want to do. And I can't do it. So we had a large event. I think it was a Masonic event where it was about 300 people. And I did, I forget what it was. And it was like rave reviews from all 300 people. If you have, it's pretty good if 5 or 10 or 15 people be like, man, that food was on hit, bro. It was bussing. Yeah. But if you have a rave review from every single person that's in the building, and everybody was genuine with their comments, okay, cool. Now you're feeding your faith. All right.
Okay.
I have faith in what I do. I have faith in where I want to take this. All right. So now fear has gone down a percentage, So now I need to step out a little bit more. So I had an idea. My father had passed in 2013. And I was talking to my brother. I seen a commercial, in the house one day, and it was for a company called LegalZoom. They help with LLCs and all type of legal avenues that you need. So I, brought it up real quick, and they were talking about starting a business, getting a business name, and blah blah blah. And it was funny that the day of my father's funeral, Pastor Walter G. Wells, he got up and he's eulogizing my father. He took a deep breath and he said, "My boy, Big Jim, my boy, Big Jim." And that resonated with me because, a lot of people called him Big Jim, but it didn't hit me. That was a sign. You know what? I'm going to call this something that my father would have enjoyed being a part of. Big Jim's BBQ. I called my older brother, Jimmy. His name is James Jr., so we call him Jimmy. I called my brother. I said, "Hey, what do you think about starting a barbecue business?" My brother's one of those, he's really quiet. He's like, whatever. So I continued, the path of LegalZoom. Took about a month, got the LLC, got all that paperwork going. And I sat on it. Once everything was approved, the name was approved, I think I sat on it for about 5 months. Still cooking for the lodge, but I think I sat on it for about 5 months and was like, what do I do? Well, a little voice popped up and said, what do? Is you keep conquering that thing called fear, because faith is stronger than fear. So, I would cook for people here and there. I made business cards. I would pass them out, and thank God that the I don't want to say the African American church, but the Christian community within Southeast San Diego is really strong, really close knit. So I would cook for different churches. I would cook for different people. So next thing you know, I'm doing a family reunion. Next thing you know, I'm doing, a church picnic, another church picnic. And now it was starting to pick up. And I was really I was feeding my faith, through, people's smiles. And it fills me up thinking about it, that every time that I prayed, God answered and said, just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. And I just wanted to keep pushing, keep moving.
Right. Yeah. Right. That's determination.
Yeah.
Motivation. Let me ask you, with all that, what activities or hobbies bring you the most joy and fulfillment outside of your professional life?
I tell you what. So I'm embracing, not saying that this is a big, the end of my life. I'm coming up on 50 years old. All right. I can't stop bowling. I am a die-hard bowler. If you know anything about me, my best friend, Lonnie Butler, and Donnell Pleasant, that is, we've been bowling together for 30 years, man. I mean, same league, same everything. Deep sea fishing. I don't get down with that lake fishing. And I'm like, man, am I getting old? You only hear older people talk about they like fishing and bowling. I'm like,
oh man.
You know what? I embrace it.
Yeah, you better embrace it. You better embrace it, because I love fishing on BP.
Exactly, man. Like, work stresses you out. You've been cooking every doggone weekend over the past 3 months. I need something to release. We bowl on Thursdays at 32nd Street on the Navy base every Thursday. So every now and again, Lonnie B is like, hey, man, we need to get out on that water. So we go out on those chartered boats out there, and, we just spend the whole day or a day or two out there. And we might not even touch the fish, but it was just the experience of just getting away from everything. So, we talk about hobbies, things that I do, fishing, bowling, and I've dug myself so deep into my Masonic Lodge. If you go down 30th and Logan, on a Friday night or Saturday or Sunday afternoon, you'll probably see me up there cutting the grass or doing some type of upkeep to the building. You know, I love my Masonic family. I love my lodge. So my lodge, bowling and fishing. That's where, you know, my heart is at.
Right.
And my church family, excuse me, number one.
Yeah, I would like to say before I get it too far along, thank you for your service.
Yes, sir.
I
you said
appreciate it.
Yeah.
you said you was in the Navy, right? And
I was in the Navy, yes.
well, okay, so I kind of want to touch on that kind of like a little bit. Can you share a moment of triumph or success that stands out as a significant accomplishment?
From the military aspect or just in general?
In general.
Oh, in general. Well, man, a couple years ago, I tell you what, one of the biggest blows to business, period, was our good friend COVID a few years back. I started this business in 2016. Like I said, I sat on it for about 6 months. So 2016, we rolled into 2017. You know, I really started getting my feet wet. You know, church picnics, church functions, Masonic functions. I really started, you know, getting the business and my name out, the business name out, and you know, putting together a good product. And just continuing to push forward. But when something hit me that once my name got past the 8 freeway, if you know where I'm going with this, um, it really sparked something in me that it's not just Southeast San Diego. I expanded beyond the walls, so to speak, no pun intended, of my neighborhood and my community. To the point where I was doing the Coronado 4th of July parade. And that was by far one of the biggest things that I had done. I was nervous. You know, I wasn't ready for that scale of activity. I knocked it out the park, brothers. I killed it. I can't speak enough of the first year that I did the Coronado 4th of July parade. It was unnerving, you know, the nervousness. But once it was all said and done, the look on the people's faces, the what they were sharing, and as quickly as they were responding to, hey, you know, there was so much business, you know, that was roped up out of that one parade that I've been invited back every year, every single year.
Okay.
Wow.
And it's exciting.
Wow.
It's super exciting. I'm actually preparing for it. I'm going to start June. It's July 3rd, 4th. So I'm going to start preparing for that in the probably about the beginning of June.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That
Yeah.
is great, man. That's powerful. That is powerful. I love to hear that.
Let me ask you this real quick. Then we're gonna pass it back to Keith. Well, actually, let me ask you this: are there any specific daily habits that you believe contribute to your productivity and well-being?
I say this, and this is a personal part of me that I'm sharing. I'm learning something new, so I hope that we can share this experience together, and we can kind of navigate these waters. I'm going to say it. Yeah, sobriety.
Sobriety. Yes.
I'm not I'm not fully clean, but yes, I am, you know, getting away from one of the biggest habits that was plaguing me for a really long time. That was kind of shading the eyes of my sisters and brothers. You know, I'm not saying I'm a full blown alcoholic, but what I'm saying is, you know, some of that can take away I should say, can diminish some of your talent. So it's a highlight for me that, and I'm being upfront and I'm being personal. It's that it's new, it's exciting, it's a breath of fresh air, and it's a bunch of endless possibilities because I feel good. I feel a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna front. I'm not, on some holier than thou or straddling the fence. I am who I am, but I'm trying something different that I was used to for a really long time.
Right.
So that's what I have right now. That's what I'm working with.
Right.
To be fully transparent, that is at the forefront of my brain, of my thought process, of my actions, of everything. It's how I respond to my new quote unquote life choice.
Okay. Well. With that, I'm kind of glad you phrased it that way on that last ending part, because I was going to ask you. A lot of people we have talked to have a military experience, or family members in military,
Mm-hmm.
and I was wondering, as you were saying, what is I like to use mind state, but what I'm talking about is like a mental health type of sense, of coming from the military, and whether if you was active and you
Mm-hmm.
seen the tragedy of war and stuff like that, or and then you coming home and then getting into a business sense, getting into a community sense, because you're helping a lot with the community.
I
What
tell you what, when I
mind
was
state was that?
I joined the Navy right out of high school.
Okay.
Mama's boy, still am a mama's boy. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Mhm.
Um, I wasn't prepared for college. Like I said, I'm still in the 13th and a half grade. No. I graduated. I'm in the 14th grade. Um, you know, I'm 5'7", so I'm not hitting the two hole, with the rock. I can't. I'm not going to college for to USC. I'm only 5'7", so I can't dunk no basketball. I'm not
Right.
hitting no home run. So uh, Southeast San Diego, for somebody 18 years old without a plan, is not a place to be. No pun intended. You need to have a plan and be focused and have goals, or you'll end up, no pun intended, again. Um, so I joined the Navy, but one thing about the service is that that's a whole new world in itself. For a sheltered kid, my first duty station was Pascagoula, Mississippi. Spell that twice. And it was in the countryest portion of the country, if that
Man.
exists. And being born and raised in Southern California, I stuck out like a sore thumb. So it was a culture shock for me. Um, I toured, I did, what I was supposed to do, visited different countries, came back, got some different perspective. And, to answer that question, you're meeting people from all walks of life. You're experiencing that walk of life, being able to go to a country that, I've had some buddies in the Navy. They were African, going to Eritrea and Djibouti and different countries in Africa. Uh, it was mind blowing, and then now, some 30 years later, you know, seeing the same cultures, in the city that I live in, it was a full embrace, because I was, you know, uh, uh, I was introduced to that at a young age. So, like I said, just being able to experience, come home, and then all of a sudden, this is what we have here, in San Diego in 2020, 2021 through 2024. It's okay. I was prepared for this. I'm able to articulate and speak with people from. I met somebody from Bulgaria. Like, where is that? Yeah, so it was a full. It was teaching me how to embrace different cultures, and enjoy, in the Bible. This is one of the biggest things that you, in my mind, and I'm pretty sure other people think about it too. The word faith. The word faith means faith is the substance of things not seen, and the evidence of things not seen. Yeah. Um, Faith brings us together, as people. And I'm looking at, different walks of life and beliefs that, people have. And it's like, we all believe in a higher power, a supreme being. And that's good enough for me. I'm cool with this guy from Bulgaria. I'm cool with these people from Eritrea. I've never met anybody from Australia, but I'll be cool with them too.
Right.
I think shoot, man, there's a lot that you've said so far, and since I'm gonna take a minute, I mean, it's called KF&JF podcast for a reason. So I'm gonna take this minute and talk about, in the whole area that you're in, everything you've talking about over there in that area is it just brings back so much for me. And the fact that you're in the restaurant business. I had a restaurant on El Cajon Boulevard called Boulevard Barbecue and Cajun Cuisine. And one of the big things that I was going to ask you about, and you talked about your big event that you were doing. And one of my events that I had there was, first of all, they had the unknown eater that they would come by, and you get on Channel 8. They try to do, I did the Cajun cuisine part, but I had a big job to do to feed the jail, South Bay County Jail down there. It was during the Christmas holiday. I had to do the Thanksgiving, and I was going to do the Christmas. It was the biggest thing for me to do. And one thing I learned is that the finances behind that, I had my fish vendor. I had my, I had all my meat vendors, and all these vendors, was keeping my kitchen packed up with food to use. Yeah. How do you deal with all of those vendors that you need to help you to do a big job? Because I know sometimes some people have the money to fork it out and pay cash, but sometimes you got those vendors that are dropping stuff off of you because you got this little 30-day window that you can use to pay them, and use the money from the event. It's kind of a cycle. That's how it works.
And sometimes it's net 30, net 60, net 90.
Use that type of cycle, or you trying to pay everything yourself?
I do. So if you look behind me, net 30, net 60, net 90. Yeah. So if you look behind me, I'm in my little prep area right now. I had to get an extra refrigerator for storage and stuff like that. I do a lot of the prep work and storing at my commissary agreement, which is a place you store food off site. But for, local small events, I had to get a second refrigerator. And naturally, I have like 3 or 4 deep freezers outside. So if you look on my refrigerator, naturally, there's a calendar. So on one calendar, there's events. The second calendar is supplies. So, I mean, every day it's a constant reminder. I'm one of those dudes. If you told me I needed forks in 15 minutes, I'm gonna be like, what'd you tell me? I forgot. You know what I'm saying? I guess I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna say I'm getting old, but I'm learning the power of writing down. I write everything down. If I need napkins, forks, whatever, there's, receipts in my pocket. There's a magnet on my refrigerator where I keep all of my receipts. That way, that reminds me that I need to do all of my QuickBook entering. I need to do my spreadsheets. It's a constant thing where I keep telling myself I cannot put anything off. Everything that I do has to be in a note until I complete the task. And then I keep my notes in my little notebook. Hey, I've got receipting to do today. I've got ordering to do today. I've got so naturally it's one of those things of being in business to where you can't get behind, you can't get lazy. So that that's the task that I use is always making my notes. FIFO, that old saying, first in, first out. Whatever I'm receiving, that's going out first. I keep the dates. I write dates on all the boxes of when I received. I keep a calendar of, hey, I need to throw this out. This has been sitting around too long. So it's a conscious effort every day of staying on top of all your fruits, your vegetables, your meats, your dairy. I mean, it's a tic-tac-toe of your brain happening all the time. And that, brother, it's first in, first out. This got to go up. This has been sitting too long. So that, like I'm saying, man, you could be asking me, hey, man, what's the score of the Padre game? I got beef ribs. Oh, wait, you're asking about baseball. I'm tripping. I got food all day long.
It's a scary business because it always, from what my part of doing the business, they come in, they do the inspection. All right, when you got a brick and mortar, they want to put the sign, your AB, whatever your classification is. People looking at that and seeing what it's all about, and I just I found it, man. And one of the other things about having a restaurant or even dealing in any kind of food, and there was an event I had at and not Las Vegas, but what's the place that's way out there? Well, anyway, it was a casino. We had a whole big event to do out there, and we cooked the food the night before. We did everything we needed. We prepared the trailer, got everything left up in the morning. Stayed up all night. The dude I was with got on the freeway. He fell asleep and almost killed us. Killed us out there, and we were on the long highway, and he tipped over with the trailer. The hitch was like bent. And I think about all of the times we miss our family, or you're working late and doing that. Do you ever found that you were in a place where you wasn't able to participate in a lot of things because you're out there, providing food or cooking food or prepping food?
I told myself this. I have a regular 9 to 5. So I work for the city of Coronado Public Services Department.
Okay.
So every day, I have to make sure that, my home front is taken care of. My job is, I've got a few more years to put in, what I'm saying, before I think about retirement. So that has to be first and foremost. So you think about 40 hours a week, or 80 hours every 2 weeks, whatever the schedule is. So technically that leaves you with, and we have every other Friday off. So I've got prep on Friday. I've got some type of event on Saturday. It's mandatory for me to make sure that I have preparation for Sunday. It's like, it's my tithing, so to speak, if you know where I'm going with this. It's my tithing for myself and sowing a seed back into the community. So Sunday is always mandatory. So I was telling myself, with preparation, with Monday through Thursday or Monday through Friday at work, and dealing with the stressors of work and blah, 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 blah. The Fridays that you have off is preparation for some type of gig that you have on Saturday. Give yourself one free weekend every month. You've got your outlet of bowling, because bowling goes from August to April, the winter league. And that's, when we primarily, you've got your outlet on Thursdays, with your bowling league. But sometimes you can have that mental and physical breakdown. And I don't want to find myself in a position to where, and I've been, at my commissary place, prepping for case in point, United Domestic Workers. I've been blessed to serve the United Domestic Workers, and they had a membership rally, and the membership rally was for 1,000 people.
Yeah.
1,000. And sometimes you say, hey, I'm about to have a party, I invited 50 people, well, 42 will show up or 36 will show up. This party, 1,050 showed up. So I had to really prepare and prepare and prepare. So I had to really take the time, and I was reaching that point of like burnout of chopping vegetables and smoking meat. And it was just like, if I had hair, I would pull it out. I'm like, why did I choose this? Why did I choose this lifestyle? This sucks. But that preparation, that irritation, all of that was all wrapped up in a big ball and thrown out. Once we got that whole setup going, all your emotions are out on the table, and you pulling your hair out, and everything looks beautiful. And it's just like, what? Patience, take your time, remember to take your rest. That is mandatory for me, man. It's, I'm sorry, I can't take this event, but hey, I got a partner, my partner, Ricky, his name is slipping right now. He owns Meat Stall Barbecue, and that brother can cook. And I have 2 other partners that we all kind of get together and have a good time, and making sure we talk about the business and the industry. And if I have something this week or he needs help or blah blah, we kind of stay close knit to where we believe in give yourself some time, your own mental health little block of space, to making sure that you're okay. So if I say no, I apologize, but hold on, I got something that can stand in my place just as good.
Well, that's the hard part about the business, man. The restaurant business, whether you have a brick and mortar or you're doing it from your house or however else you can, cater it in that way. Man, I missed a lot of school. I would get home and my daughter's already asleep. So I not only missed the whole day, I got to get back up in the morning and go back to the restaurant. I take her to school. That was my only time with her, but I won't see her till the next time I got to take her to school because, like you say, chopping those onions and prepping all this stuff and, getting staff
and
to
then
do
cleaning,
certain things.
and then making sure that all of your equipment is clean.
That part. You can't
you got a kitchen full of pots and pans and full of just delicious food, but then you look over and you're like, man, I got to clean all this stuff, bro. No.
That adds a whole nother depression to it, man, right there. Because, that's oh my God. I know that's a lot of work, and people don't really understand that work that's put into the restaurant business. And when you were talking about,
my son hasn't had that grasp yet. It's like, he wants to be involved and he wants to see how the business is ran, but he's not that type to be like, all right, Pops, I'm gonna step up. And he'll look over at the dishes and be like, all right, Dad, I'll holler at you later, man. It was good to
see you. Yeah, man. Well, you're talking about those homeless, and the people that you're helping that's less fortunate and whatnot, you're putting forth your money to bring this to them. Have it been any time where you've had to eat a lot more than that, where you didn't, less people showed up, or there was a time when there was more people that showed up that needed to, you could not help, or was it that people didn't like what you were getting?
Fortunately and unfortunately, bro, there's been times. So let me tell you how this started really quick. I've always had, this pin in my side, this thorn in my side when it comes to the, the less fortunate. You give what you can, you do what you can. And one thing that I noticed was that my gift was always with food. So it started out on my way. So, anything about San Diego, you go through Barrio Logan, you get on the 5 freeway, boom, you get on the Coronado Bridge to go to work. That's my route every day leaving home. So I go down Ocean View Boulevard, cross over to the National, get on the 5 freeway. Next exit is Coronado, crossing that bridge. One thing that I was wanting to do is I started out with 5 sack lunches. So bologna and cheese, chips, the variety pack of chips and Capri Sun. And I would write a note on it. Hey, there's still people that love you. There's still people that want to connect with you. So that's how it started. It started with 5 lunches, handing those out right before I get on the bridge to go to work. 5 turned to 15, 15 turned to 20, 20 turned to 50, 50 turned into 100. At that point, it was kind of like, okay, I need to do something, wanted to do something a little different. And so when you talk about what are the hurdles and challenges, when you get to that 99th bag and you're about to turn over and hand out your 100th bag and you feel, excited, you feel compelled, you turn the corner and there's 25 more people standing there, hungry, depressed, that look that sunk me. That really sunk me, and sunk me enough to where I wanted to do more, and I'm doing this on my own dime. I'm praying for the finances to do it. I would go shopping on Fridays. I would get, donations from, certain people, and which ultimately led to me starting the nonprofit. It's called Severely Blessed. Play on words. There it is. I would receive, all kinds of stuff. And fortunately, like I said, fortunately that I was able to do it, but unfortunately, I can't solve poverty and the unhoused on my own. There's only a limit. There's a limit to what I can do. That's the unfortunate part. If the Lord has his vision, his drive, and his desire, and if he sees fit, I just want to continue to be a vessel. But like I said, I'm going to continue to make sure that the Sundays, every Sunday, that I have something to provide. And no shade on what I did in the past, but I was thinking about, how long I've been doing this. I started this in 2016 and I've missed, I'm not bragging, and I've missed all of probably six Sundays.
6 Sundays. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 6. Pouring down rain. I'm out there. Wow. So like you said, fortunate, unfortunate, fortunate that I'm able to try and be a blessing, and unfortunately I can't solve this problem on my own, man. And I hand out that 100th bag or that 200th box lunch. You turn the corner, to pack your stuff up, and a whole line of people.
Right.
Yeah.
Man. That's what it's about, man. It's about you try. You're out there, so you are giving a blessing and you're being a blessing as soon as you show up. So you're right. It's hard to absorb all of that responsibility because it's overwhelming. There was a Panero Bread place I worked at Frazee, and next door was a Panero Bread, and late at night I worked the night shift. They were throwing all this bread and it was just, I don't know what it wasn't bad. And I loaded up my van, man, full of bread. I mean, I'm talking packed up Panero Bread. I said, I'm getting ready to go downtown San Diego and get his bread out. Yeah. Man, post looked at me like they didn't want that bread. They told me they wanted something else.
Tell you what, man,
they make me take all that bread back home.
There's some sections in downtown Mario Logan. You would think that that's the filet mignon side of the homeless neighborhood, bro. Yeah. You better not come in there without the good stuff.
Right? They gonna walk right by you, man. It's amazing. Yes, so I was hurt, man. I was so hurt. I went home, told my wife, I said, I got all this bread. She said, you better get rid of that bread. It's gonna go bad. I said, I tried. They wouldn't take it. They wouldn't take the bread from me. So, talk a little bit about the. You said something about the healthcare portion that you're working with, or is it an organization or something along that line?
No, I was saying that I was in the Navy. I was a paramedic in the Navy.
Okay,
So
okay.
that was that gave me like a baseline, understanding, health and safety, everything, that involved with the legalities of, infectious disease and all that other stuff that I needed to really look out for. I tell you what, man, it's I go to the skiddiest of Skid Row. I find myself sometimes, as I'm approaching somebody, I'm not there to judge nobody. I'm just there to give you something to put in your stomach. You got people that are, actively putting needles in their arms and hands and smoking crack and all kinds of stuff, man. And I find myself, as I'm walking there, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, Lord, please protect me. I just really feel in my heart though that, God ordered my steps. So he's going to protect me. I'm not trying to say I'm Billy Bad Butt or anything, but the fear, doesn't exist anymore. I'm smart, but I know there's a plan. I know there's a purpose for what I'm out here doing, and I'm trusting in the purpose. I'm trusting in the process. I'm not being a dummy, but I'm just continuing to trust the purpose and the process and the plan.
Right. You're right, man. That's all you can do, and stay, all things are possible with God, and you know how that is, and I'm sure you're walking that walk. One of the things that you talked about in your business that resonates with me even to this day, because I'm responsible for pretty much the cooking in this household with my sister. My wife passed away a few years back, but so I stay with my sister here, and so I do a lot of the cooking. And one thing that you said that just kind of like, I know that feeling, and that's when people start to smile when they've tasted and got your food, and they leave and they walk away and they're happy with what you've done. That's the biggest reward to a cook that can ever be done. Is that's something is the biggest thing. And I wonder how you feel about that, and can you talk a little bit about that importance of having that not necessarily the total reaction, but just when that somebody has hit you with that smile and that food.
One thing that I did learn in this cooking industry is consistency. All right. And I'm gonna get a little ethnic on us. What's the first thing your auntie or somebody asks when they come to a family event or a cookout? Who made the mac and cheese?
Did you wash your hands?
I was just thinking that he's gonna say mac and cheese.
Who made the mac and cheese? Who made the potato salad, bro?
Yeah.
So it's funny because in my family, it's passed down like, okay, cool. One of my nieces is making it this year, or my sister is making it this year. But it's one thing that when they're making it, it's always that they've gone back to what Nana, well, I say Nana is my mom, or my grandmother, how she made it.
Yeah.
They stuck to the basic principles and the roots of, they ain't putting raisins in it. They ain't putting all this other stuff in it. We can experiment, but not on Thanksgiving and not on when Nana is judging everything, So I don't want to experiment when it comes to when you have some people in there that they watching every, okay, let's see who, okay, Jason made it, okay, let's see what he did this time. I want my food to be consistently the same, the flavors, the spices, everything that you taste will be the same unless you ask me for something different. So to see the pop-ups that I do, the catering events that I've been a part of, the parades, the bigger events where you're cooking, 10 pans of mac and cheese or 10 pans of potato salad or 30 slabs of ribs, that the first rib and the 300th rib taste exactly the same. They got the right amount of smoke. The mac and cheese has the right amount of flavor. You know, the potato salad is on point. It fills my spirit. Like, I know that I need to stay, you know, in alignment and continue, you know, doing and serving a quality product. You know, it makes me smile. It makes me feel like everything that I wrote down on that piece of paper when I was in the kitchen, you know, a pinch of salt here, a dab of pepper there, you know, write it down and don't defer from it. Stay on point.
That is so important, man, because it's hard to, when in that kitchen one day, I cook something, it tastes so good. I don't remember what the hell I did to make it. I've been chasing after that taste. And I know it's just something simple that I didn't, I'm not adding in, but when I was doing it, I wasn't even counting.
Yeah. I had a guy doing the Coronado parade. So I had barbecue. He had it was a Mexican taco truck, a birria truck. They were serving birria tacos. And prior to the event, I would go down. I was storing a bunch of bread in one of his warehouses. So he and I were, you know, developing a good friendship and whatnot. And I was talking about seasonings and flavoring. So he gave me this bag of like crystallized Mexican sea salt, right? And thank you, no problem. He was like, he talks about, you know, what he uses it for and vegetables. So this is funny to me now, after I cried about it for a month. Remember the Market Creek Jazz Festival that's down here at the Jacob Center? So I had the fortunate opportunity to be one of the vendors there. So I had ribs, I had tri-tip, I had pulled chicken, pulled pork, I had mac and cheese, I had greens. I forget what the other dirty rice. I had a full soul food menu.
No, not no dirty rice. Oh,
dirty rice, bro. It was extremely dirty too. You can't have dirty rice without the chicken livers in it, bro. Come on, man. What you know about that? I know. Anyway, so I'm preparing to serve, you know, upwards of 300 guests. So I'm, you know, making pans of greens, keeping the stuff hot on site. But what I made the mistake of doing, using that, no pun intended, that Mexican sea salt in the greens. All right.
That shit's salty, man.
Bruh. So, my girlfriend's mother,
you know what they get.
All right. My girlfriend's mother was here, and naturally, you know, when I'm cooking, I got my son, my lady, you know, they're sitting around waiting for the taste test. So my girlfriend's mother is here, and we're loading up the stuff. The greens is always last, you know what I'm saying? So had them simmering, boom, ready for the taste test. I tasted them, and I'm like, oh no, something's not right.
You said, oh no.
I had my mother, my girlfriend's mom tasted, and she's like, ooh, and I'm like, it was right on the edge. Man, I got down to the Jacob Center and was setting up. You know, it was a lot of people coming in for the Jazz Fest. So, yeah, that man, they was hovering around like vultures. Like, okay, cool, we got fried chicken, we got this. Oh, we got the soul food too, the barbecue. Like, all right. I'm looking up. I got a line around the corner. I'm like, thank you, Jesus. One of my mother's friends, longtime friends. Man, I'm looking at her. She's tearing food up, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, my son hands me something, you know, like, you know, I was trying to slip somebody something. He hands me a note. And that, I mean, you ever seen a balloon blowing up and then you let it go and it goes residue all over the place. And she said that she called me son, them GD greens as salty as SHIT. I was like, oh no.
You ain't got to use much of that salt, man.
Man, I took that thing and literally threw it down the street. and that's where I was alluding to, man. It was just, I stepped outside of my own personal comfort zone. I know what I use. I know what I like. I know what customers or, family, friends, everybody, I know what they want to taste. So I'm not going outside of my comfort zone anymore because, man, that note broke my heart, man.
That sauce used for that carne asada because they can salt it up real quick and you can taste it. You taste it right away with that carne asada because you can't be doing that other salt. It take forever to get it right away. But that Mexican salt, man, you just get it on there, shit. Oh, it tastes salt. It's already got the flavor to it. I'm passing it on to Razak right now. I think we ate up enough time. Razak is ready to fire you up right now.
Okay. No, I was just thinking when you said that you be writing it down, have you formatted a cookbook or anything?
Well, here's the thing. I alluded earlier that when I'm cooking, man, I'm in a zone. You got some people that can throw everything that they're doing on Facebook Live or Instagram or blah blah blah. I'm not thinking that. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking of finishing this masterpiece. You know what I'm saying? And then when I finish it and I've done my taste test, I'm going to go sit down. I'm the last thing that I'm thinking about is taking pictures. My son is in charge of that because he knows that I'm going to forget about it. So when you say writing down, when it comes to the sides, like the meat, man, bro, you do barbecue, when you need about an hour's of simmering more, when you need to wrap, when you need to pull it off, that it's just instinctive, and if you've done barbecue for any amount of time, you rely on that, and that is the math, and that math be mathing. But when it comes to the sides, I'm telling you, brother, you have to stick to, if you know that it's 3 pinches or 4 pinches, or when the ancestors thump you upside the head, you better stop. You better stop. So I have not technically thought about developing, a cookbook because I know what works for me. And I don't want nobody to regenerate what works for me. No, I'm joking. Yeah. So right now, I'm kind of in the works with a cousin that I have in Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I meant to go grab it a second ago. I've got it. Our family barbecue sauce. It's pretty heavy in Wisconsin, Arkansas, West Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and to say South Carolina and North Carolina, a barbecue capital, a barbecue state, says something about this product. So I'm slowly, and I'm hesitant on saying slowly, but wanting to roll this barbecue sauce out. Let me see, what did we get? We got a pallet of it delivered 3 weeks ago. So I'm starting to roll out the barbecue sauce. When it comes to the business of barbecue, sometimes you want to make your own sauce, you want to make your own rubs. It's, I'm so far from that right now. It's just, the sauce is evident, but it's, maybe it's time to start, cultivating that and rolling out this product all throughout California.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure we get a picture of that bottle before.
You know what? Right before we started, something told me, grab the bottle so you can show them.
Hey, you know what? Let's take a break right now, and you go grab that bottle.
Mm-hmm.
Up a little bit. Yeah, right there, right there. There you go. There you go. Oh yeah, there you go, man.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How long you guys have been doing that?
This was something that was actually given to me. I want to say about 2 years ago, and the story of my father. He's a native of Arkansas and transplanted here in San Diego in the early 50s. My father had 6 brothers, and they were all into barbecue, and they were all spread out all over the nation. So I had an uncle in Chicago, one in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 2 of them in Arkansas, one in Mississippi. They were all spread over, but they were all businessmen. They were all good cooks. So I guess my uncle Hubbard, up in West in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, they came up with some secrets that my father and two other of my uncles had, and they branded this sauce. So at a family reunion, they were talking about it, and I have a cousin, my Uncle Hubbard's son. He's like, hey man, you guys do barbecue in California, let's talk about branding this barbecue sauce. Well, yeah, whatever, we'll see. Man, I tasted the prototype, bro. It was a wrap. It was a wrap, man. This ain't your average Sweet Baby Ray's, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. Yeah.
Wow.
No props out to Sweet Baby Ray's, bro. But I tell you, man.
Put that bottle up there again.
This.
Let me see it again. Razak, look at that.
Get you a bar of this. Yeah.
Got the little pig on the front.
one of my girlfriends from church was telling me, bruh, I put this on a bologna sandwich the other day. Sister Angie. Yeah, Angie Miller. She was telling me she put it on a bologna sandwich.
She put it on a bologna sandwich. That means bologna ain't no good, but it's better now.
Yes, sir.
Because if she fried it, it would have been all right. She didn't need nothing. She would have fried that thing.
Yes, sir.
Well, that's signs of a good sauce right there, though. Too, if you can put it on anything and it enhances the taste of it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed. On you, Razak.
Let me ask you this: have you do you have a bucket list that you of things that you want to accomplish, or just goals?
Goals naturally. I every day, I have this vision, this idea of what it would look like, as a Big Jim's Barbecue, the brick and mortar. I always think about that. Nothing is impossible. I'm a strong believer. I have strong faith. But my right now faith is, and that's a loose term, is more along the lines of my food truck. I'm dibbling and dabbling between the two. Right now I'm keeping up with equipment and space. I have a couple of storage spots where I keep all of my fryers and a bunch of stuff that I bring out to picnic sites or buildings or whatever, to make sure I'm doing everything correctly on site, heating it up on site, keeping it safe. Right. And I'm thinking more along the lines of my food truck, food trailer, which would my heart is showing me signs of my food truck pulling up to a spot where I normally go and serve the homeless, and being my spot to where I take the Cambro boxes and I load up all my Cambro boxes with the disposable trays that I pack the food in. But if I was to have that food truck, I could pull up and I could serve dinners right in a plate right then and there. So that is my my right now goal, my right now desire. My wish list naturally would be Big Jim's brick and mortar. Excuse me. I would call it Big Jim's Rib Shack. Remember, I was talking about earlier
Rib Shack.
I wanted the designated Rib Shack.
The Rib
Big Jim's
Shack.
Rib Shack. Yeah.
All right, that.
I mean, wouldn't you on a Friday night, whatever, you and your wife or whoever, y'all hanging out, let's go to the Rib Shack. I've been dying to want to say that. I'm going to the Rib Shack.
Wasn't it one over there across the street, like on Euclid and Imperial, right on the? They used to have a little Rib Shack
for a hot minute. It's by the Beauty Supply. It was called the Rib Shack, but it was there for all of about 3 months, man.
Yeah. I remember it's the Rib Shack.
Yeah,
years ago.
Location.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so when it comes to your life lessons, is there a particular life lesson you learned that you would like to pass on to others?
Man, slow down. Life's not going nowhere, brother. until that trumpet sounds and he returns.
Yeah.
Slow down. Man. If I could jump outside of myself and look at myself and have a conversation, I think I could print some shirts that says Big Jim's BBQ and then slow down. Slow down. There's nothing that you need to be doing at a fast pace. We look at the elderly, the seasoned, the veterans, the OGs, the triple OGs. They might not be able to walk, and run as fast as they used to, but the pace that they going is telling you something. It's telling a story. Slow down. You know what I'm saying? Life is not all about this fast pace. Yeah, you still gonna get there. Take it slow.
Yeah,
be patient.
That's right. I can see that. Patient. That's kind of like a deep quote almost, like
Yeah. I was gonna say smoke down. Smoke down, but you say slow down. Smoke down.
Low and slow, brother. Low and slow. Yeah, you got it, I look at the position, the community, Southeast San Diego, man. Everybody is fast paced, keeping up with the Joneses, wanting to do this, wanting to do that. Every now and again, man, it's time to just go back to how things was back in the 80s, man, when times was a little bit better for us, just relax, man.
Martin Luther King parade.
Oh, bro. Up and down Imperial Avenue before they took it downtown.
Yeah. That's where it rolled. That's where I used to sit and watch it on the corner.
Okay, now let me ask you this though, because when we're on the still on the slow down on but with the how should I say, with the new technology, does that play a part, or for you it might be new utensils or stuff?
To be honest, it's a blessing and a curse sometimes if you think about it. In business, you look at the platforms that are your advertisement now. Back in the day, you used to get an advertisement on a bus stop seat, or you had the money on a billboard when you're driving down the block. Now, there's notifications on your phone. There's stuff that you can send out, that's, right there at your fingertips that takes your nephews and your nieces to teach you about. And it's a blessing, I talk a lot about we're solving problems with 1960s technology, excuse me. Yeah. So, I mean, it all comes, full circle, but I love it. And it's a blessing and a curse sometimes.
Would you say that you have okay, so in the technology, so now today they got like smart houses and stuff like that. So would you say your traditional style as far as is the technology is concerned, you have a traditional style of a fire pit. I mean, barbecue pit with the coals, or do you have one of those temperature gauges? Do you do like that? That's more high tech in a sense.
So with the tech, the way the technology has advanced nowadays, I mean, they talk about 16 to 18 hour smoked briskets. Right. I ain't got that type of time. You know what I'm saying? And thank God they come up with equipment that can, because my briskets don't stay on the pit longer than 10. So 8 and 10 falling off, pull apart, smoke ring, everything. So you go ahead and take 18 hours and smoke your brisket. My people will be full and with the itis 8 hours prior.
Yeah, I heard that,
right. I appreciate, everything that has come out to make things a lot easier. But, that's, I need that type of stuff to where I have to serve, that the line has to be set up by noon. You know what I'm saying? And I put all this stuff on midnight. So I have to be slicing and ready to pan up, plate up everything by 11. All right. I ain't got time to be smoking all week long. No, thank you. No, thank you. So I do have the old school, coal pit, but I also have my trailer. I have my pellet grills. I'm looking on my patio and I'm looking at my pellet grill. I have an offset smoker. I have a regular grill when I do a lot of chicken. And then I have my trailer. So I have a 300-gallon reverse flow smoker. And man, I tell you what, your equipment is everything. Your equipment is everything.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. So I do a lot of upkeep to my equipment, and I look at my pellet grill as well as my trailer and my offset smoker as just as important, no matter what year they were born or introduced.
Right. Yeah. That's right next to seasoning right there, huh? They're keeping the equipment up. Pretty much. All right, let me ask you. I gotta.
You got it. That's about right.
Let me see. I'm gonna dial it back just for a second. A little while ago, when you was talking to Keith, we hit on your roots. I think you were talking about going to a thing. As far as roots is, and we're gonna use this as a legacy question. How now? This is kind of a little bit different. Like we say, what are you going to leave for people in the legacy? But I want to ask you, where are I'm not too sure if we touched on it, but if we did, I guess we'll just go into more detail. What are the roots that embedded in your, I know you say Masonic, but the legacy of the cooking, like, the meat, where your dad had did it, but is there, like African roots, or is he, Haitian, that type of like roots is, and then the legacy that leads from there.
I mean, just like, any other Southeast story, my roots come from Kentucky and Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? There's no spice. There's no nothing. It's countryer than country. It basically, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? My mother's from Kentucky. My father's from Arkansas. So, but that blend, is through all five of us. There's something unique in each one of us. My mother was a communicator by trade. My father was a cook. He did a lot of different things, but he worked for SDG&E. But the drive, and passion in them both, you talk about roots, is that I noticed for myself, it's, I don't want to stop. I don't want to quit. It's something gets in me that, I want to finish the race. And I like, wait a minute. Well, my mother used to do stuff like that. She would find a project, and complete it, and then go back and do it again, just so she can find a teaching method, of what she learned from that.
Right.
My father would sit in the kitchen and stare at the refrigerator. He would just have the refrigerator open, and he would be figuring out different ingredients, to put here and this and that. So he was like innovative. He was thinking of stuff, like, So I got drive, I got determination and teaching. And then my father is just inquisitive, like, I can do this, I can do that. But what he was doing, he was figuring out stuff that he can, put together for, large groups, the church group, like we were talking about. So thinking about, that, pushing forward, I want to, like I said, I want to keep my product the same. I want to keep, things tasting, but the drive and the determination and the teaching method that I got from my mother, and just the inquisitive, nature that my father was just trying to figure stuff out, and what I could do and add a pinch of this and a pinch of that coming together, it helps me to just kind of hone in. And like you were alluding to, why haven't I written, like a cookbook, or why haven't I done certain things, what I'm saying, to produce and for later dates or whatnot, that's sparking something in me now. And so whenever you hear something twice, you better listen. So yeah, that's
you heard it more. I think you've heard it more than twice.
Yeah, you better listen.
and the legacy that you're leaving behind now.
I see my son. My son won't let me cut corners. All right.
Okay.
Oh my God. He gets on my nerves sometimes. He's like, Dad, you're not supposed to be doing that. Man, I'm tired. So what? Like, you know what, kid? I taught you that. Okay, that's what's up. That you know what? I got it. So with my son, I'm not fully positive of where he wants this direction to go. That's why I continue to push, so he can continue seeing me like, okay, I really do want to pick this up because my dad is enjoying this. It's not like it's a hobby, it's life for him. So right. That's where I'm really trying to leave the lasting impression on my son. And if my son doesn't pick it up, I have nephews, at some point they might decide to do it,
Right.
Or a neighbor's son, hey, Mr. Jason, hey, can I, assist you in cooking this week? No problem. Let's get it.
Right. No, I hear that. I hear that.
That's an important part. That community, man. Once somebody see you, that's what we talk about with this whole program is, we want to be able to show people out there what we're doing in business, but lifting up someone at the same time. And those kids are seeing you, they looking at you, they see you hard working, they see what you're doing. That's an important thing too. Don't you think so,
yes,
Razak?
Yes. We're always I like the spirit that you're embodying with having the faith and having the determination, because it's a big heart, and it's a big part of of a business to say that you're going out there and that you're giving pretty much free meals for the homeless, and that's, people with millions of dollars don't even want to do that. You know what I mean? So, like, what's wrong with them? What do they not want to contribute back into the community that, know what I mean, a small business owner like yourself is doing it on your own? You're working somewhere else to make your business, and then you're still at the same time, I guess you can basically say giving out free products and stuff like that. So and the reward that you get is that you're filling these bellies, these people, and you might even be saving their lives. If not, you are. What I mean? So that's commendable. That's a rewarding feeling.
That's the part that drives me is I personal story, 30 seconds. There was a Hispanic gentleman, I don't know if down there off of Imperial 618, where they built the Walmart, the grocery Walmart. There was a Hispanic gentleman and didn't speak much English, but what he mustered to say in his broken English was thank you. And he had tears in his eyes, and he was like, I was going to kill myself yesterday. The bluntness, that I've been seeing, that I've been, in front of, it's like, I can't end this poverty that's happening right now all around us. But by God, I want to continue to do all that I can. I mean, all that I can. And if making you a delicious dinner, just once, 4 times a week, a month, that's what I have to offer right now, until things change. And
Wow.
I'm thankful that I'm able to do it. It's a part of a lifestyle that I've put together. That I want to say I put together, that I've chosen, to where this is, you guys know what tithing in church is. This is my tithing to life, to the community. I'm taking my earnings and I'm sowing it back into the street, into the community, so that one day, hopefully, somebody, at the brink of rock bottom says, hey, hopefully, that guy will be here on Sunday. Hopefully I can get another, a day of living, through his food.
Right.
And
certainly,
if that's the story, I'm sticking to it. Period.
Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah. I've been out there in, I can't really say the area. I believe it was the Southeast area. I wrote down, it's like by that little trolley station or something like that, but it's off by the ocean. Yeah, there's like a homeless little population right that was over there. And I know that people, you can not have a roof over your head, you can have the same clothes on, you can not shower, none of those things. But the thing of staying alive is eating, having some kind of substance. And and even if they're in the worstest position that they could ever be in their life, and they might bounce back, but they might not. They might just accept it and tin up over there. And but eating is definitely what's going to keep them going strong and make them able to survive with what they're going through for however long they're going through it.
And now what's happening is, San Diego has one of the largest populations of homeless. You go Skid Row in Los Angeles, all these other places, but if you look at statistically, San Diego is ranking them up a really high up there as far as the homeless population. Not much is being done. You see an encampment over here, and then you go on TV and they say, hey, we're making strides against homeless, and all they did was take this encampment and move it to the other side of the street. That's all it is. They didn't solve the problem. The problem still exists. They just moved it somewhere where you couldn't see it.
Right. Put the little porta potties out there for them and say they're improving something.
Yeah. And the sad part is people take advantage of these people. You got, they're out there peddling bottles and cans. So instead of helping them, they're out there selling drugs to them. So what happens is the drug addiction goes up. The alcohol addiction goes up. So when they're starting to come down, their body is starving for some type of sustenance. And when you don't have any money for food, what do? You get high again. And I'm seeing this trait, out here in the street, that it's like, I didn't eat, for a couple of days, but I've been, surviving off this beer or whatnot. If you go into the liquor store, you see those tall cans of Hurricane beer. What are they, 99 cents?
Yeah, I think that's probably why they price them like that, because they're going to sell more. Because homeless people and people that that have those type of things, during life at your low points, it's easy to get. Let me ask you this. Okay.
No, you're good.
Okay, let me ask you this little question, and we're gonna pass it back to Keith. Let me see. What role do mentorship and collaboration play in your professional development in making the success of your company?
So mentorship, is one thing. It's taking what you've learned, what you've been doing all your life, and able to turn around and show somebody else that's watching you, hey, let me bring you along. Let me show you how to do this. Let me show you how to do that, and having fun doing it, and really in your heart meaning to show them, a trade, something cool. Barbecue is friggin' awesome. It's fun to me. I can do this in my sleep if I could. And I, hopefully somebody, behind me will want to learn, this trade and how to serve people. We talk about partnership. I mean, how do you get along in life without the help of somebody else?
Right.
And to being able to be around like-minded people, who share the same vision, who have the same goals, aspect, that want to succeed and want to see you succeed, and it's not a part of the crabs in a barrel mentality. If I made it, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to pull you back down. No, I thrive off people who want to succeed,
Right.
and who are willing to say, come on, let's do this. Let's collab on a project, and there's no bigger person. We're going to do this together. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
Right.
I think you're absolutely right about that, brother, because, and even in the relationship me and Razak have, those are one of the things that we're doing in collaboration on this podcast, and him as a co-host, helping me out and putting this together and trying to make sure we build on what we've been doing. And I think that that's a big part of, in our community, we have to do more of. We have to do a little bit more of, lifting each other up. And everybody, like they say, can have a seat at the table, a leg at the table. Yeah. Everybody got food at the table as well.
We all gonna win.
No reason. Yeah, we're all gonna win. So there's no problem with that. I have a few questions that I want to ask that, or a couple are maybe in a different area. But I was going to ask you: have you been over to the Ocean View Park? You've been cooking over in that park over there?
I have not cooked over there. So it
used to be a while.
Yeah.
Yep. It used to be a little crazy park.
Still is, man. It's not really much going on over there except for the is it Memorial Day? The OG Sandbox picnic that they have over there every year. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's Memorial Day. And that's coming up. I've only been over there a couple times just to, hang out, seeing, family members, stuff like that. What I've done as far as in the neighborhood, like directly in the neighborhood, is the Cooper's Juneteenth celebration. They had that over there in Memorial Park.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where they have that at? Where they had that at?
This year it's going to be in Memorial Park again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For the Juneteenth celebration.
Okay.
Yeah. I was a vendor for the Martin Luther King parade, as well as, so they had two different parades this year. So they have the regular parade that went down Harbor Drive, and they also have the one. The Martin Luther King parade originated on Imperial Avenue from they call it the Four Corners, where Green Cat is, and they marched all the way down past Lincoln High School. Right. So this past it started last year or year before, where they marched down, brought it back to the community, and they marched down Skyline Drive and they turned into Martin Luther King Park. Yeah. So I was a vendor, for the parade. This year it was oh my God, it was an awesome, because I got an award there for community.
A lot of people that comes through that.
Member. Man, only drawback to this year's parade, man, it started pouring down rain. Yeah, man, it started to pour down rain. When I say pour, I mean pour. It was coming down.
Oh man,
yeah. But the parade was.
I like that whole area, man. I like that.
Yeah, the parade was ending. Let's say at 2:00. It started to pour down rain, and right at 1:30. So, we got all that we could get from the parade. And then the latter half of it, it was just, I mean, we got it in.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that whole. I like that whole area. I think it's Martin Luther King Park.
Yeah,
Pop
the
Warner used
Skyline
to
area.
run up through there, used to play football. Yeah, the Skyline
Oh, yeah.
area. All the way up
Mhm.
there. To the danger zone, as I used to call it back in the day. Going up there. I used to run through that. Have you been to the bazaar over there? Have you ever been to St. Rita's Bazaar? I don't know if they do that no more.
I haven't seen them doing the advertising the bazaar as of lately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have not seen the signs out because I do know that the grounds are under construction right now. They're
Okay.
they're doing some renovations to the grounds of St. Rita's. Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay.
to the
Great.
sanctuary as well as the school.
Oh, really? Really? Wow.
Yeah,
That's nice because it
yes.
probably hasn't
It
been done
looks
in
really
years,
good.
man. That
Yeah,
thing's been,
it's coming together.
oh, man, that's beautiful. That's my old school, so I like
Yes,
to
sir.
see it. I like to see it a lot happen to that. One of the other couple other questions I want to ask you about, and I really want you to think about it as all the people that you can help, and with this conversation. And I know earlier you were talking about sobriety, right? The sobriety and being able to talk about the effects of that, right? And how that affects family, community, business, and all
Yeah.
the things that you're trying to succeed in life. Can you talk about a little bit of what you've learned from that in the way towards your business and how you've grown and your family see you now? Because there's a lot of people that listens to the show. There's a lot of people that are out there that are struggling with their business and also have some of these other issues in life that maybe sometimes slow them down and take away from their ability to shine and show their true potential. Can you if you can address a little bit of
Yeah.
that?
And I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. I don't try to complicate much, and this is cliche as you can get it. All right, and here we go. Write this down. One day at a time. Problem solved. Problem solved. Problem solved. You start to look
It
back
ain't
at
funny,
your past.
but it's right.
Yes, I'm telling you, brother. We complicate as human beings. We complicate this thing called life with our own stinking thinking, our own trying to solve our own problems, our own trying to right wrongs. Sometimes it's good to just put your hands on the table and push back and just breathe for a minute. And it took me, trying to solve my own problems, like I just alluded to, trying to figure out a solution of how I can make amends and how I can say I'm sorry. Sometimes it's just letting time pass and understanding for yourself that, number one, there was a problem, admitting, and number two, believing in yourself. All right. Number three, starting where you're at. Start from today, not 3 weeks ago. If I would have did this, or if I did this, or if I had this amount of money. No, start where you're at.
Right.
And then the best part about it, do the best you can. Keep it simple.
Hey, I really think
what's one of the sweetest things you've ever heard of? It's called a kiss, right? Keep it simple, stupid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keep it simple. One day at a time, man. One day at a time, bro. You're not gonna solve all of your life's issues and problems. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna do it, and you can drive yourself crazy trying to figure out why you haven't figured certain things out. Nah, man. I'm trying to get through 8:16 right now. You know what I'm saying? 8:30, 8:45. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And trying to make sure
I
that
appreciate that,
I'm a
man.
better Jason for when I open my eyes for tomorrow. All right. Forgive yourself for what you did in the past and move on. People will love you for that, for that point alone, people will forgive you for forgiving yourself for what you used to be.
Right.
Like, you know what, man, this is what I got. This is who I am. I can't be nothing else. I can't do anything else except for what is right here in front of me. But I'm gonna do the best that I can with what I got.
Man,
I
One
think
day
you're
at a
right.
time, partner.
I think you've set something up for us to think about in that way, because as men, you know, it's hard for us to admit when we're wrong. It's hard for us to tell ourselves, you know, that hey, you know, we got this issue. We got to try to start from a new, as they say, from where we are right now. And I think that's an important lesson. Keep it simple, stupid is is about what we all should be trying to do. I think that's important. One thing I like to ask you about, here at KF&JF podcast, our whole thing was to try to uplift small businesses, right, and try to build this connection between businesses and Black-owned businesses, and try to give us a place to network. And through the podcast, we've decided, or trying to put together a platform where we can do that and have somewhere for people to go to see another business or see another Black-owned business. Can you let us know, for our viewers and listeners, what we could do, different, or what you think about the podcast as far as what we're trying to do?
I came into this not knowing what to expect. Was this just going to be your run of the mill club shay? What were we going to talk about? Who was I going to be clowning or whatnot? But I mean, to be honest with you, the questions, the platform, what I'm saying, that we talked about, man, is what we need in this community, brother. We need to shed the keeping up with the Joneses and keeping up with ourselves, what I'm saying, with one another, trying not to outdo one another, So a platform like this, and questions and comments from you, and all that you guys have to offer will keep everybody grounded and wanting to know what's going on in this community. What are you doing? And what are we talking about? What are the issues? How can I help? Number one.
Right.
Yeah, right. I love it, man. I'm sitting here thinking about, but I was always taught to listen to the question and think, before you speak. Right. And every question that you guys have posed is something that helped me to go really down into the tank and, be honest with yourself. I wasn't planning on coming in here and putting myself on Front Street like that, but I felt in my heart like that's my truth. That's who I am. That's who, if I'm walking in truth and honesty every day, I have to be true and honest with myself. And and
we appreciate that, man. I think that's exactly what we're trying to do. We're trying to make it comfortable for everybody to feel like it's, we're talking to each other as family, people in the community. The only way we're going to be able to understand how we can help each other, and how we can build a better community, and is to be open with each other and be able to talk about things that sometimes that everybody's telling you the food's good. Everybody's saying everything is good about what you're doing, but do they know you? Do they know what you about? Do they know how you care about your community? Do they have these ideas about all the hard work you're putting in, all of the time you're putting in to provide them that, to provide that, service to them? And it's important for people to see the other side, people to hear the voice of that. And regardless of how long it takes or whatever it is, this will be something you'll always be able to know was your truth and what you're about. So I'd like to ask you this, and maybe you can take a minute to talk about, something that maybe we didn't mention, or maybe something you might want to talk about that will help to uplift our community, especially our young people that are out there. We have a lot of young talent out there that's not being used. They're not grabbing it. They're constantly, finding a way to turn to the left instead of turning to the right. How do you see the community, and what could you say to those guys that are out there that are going to be looking at you as a young Black business owner?
Well, to first things first is, if we grew up in an era where everything was handed to us. It was a cool generation, man. The 70s and 80s, man. It was awesome. I was a part of a large church where the neighbor could be like, hey man, I'm taking Jason to X, Y, and Z. My mom probably didn't even hear what they said, and she just let me go, and one of the things in this community that we're missing is the roots of where we all came from. You know what I'm saying? We lost, Big Mama. Big Mama's gone. You know what I'm saying? I'm looking at myself at close to 50 years old, and that generation where we felt, close, those people are gone, So it's us that are left that have to take everything that they instilled in us and put it back in and stop being selfish and hoarding all of that stuff. Because these kids out here these days, they don't have much to look up to. You know what I'm saying? They don't have much to latch on to, and if there's not much to latch on to, what is there? Well, it's obvious, the world can eat your kids up, eat our kids up. And I mean, it's up to us to pour back into them, especially from what we've learned. I'm fortunate and blessed, that I was put in a position to make the right decisions. I'm not going to say that all of my decisions were right, but I was one of those people that got the shoe thrown halfway across the room that ended up right about here. I'm part of that generation. So, 50% of my good decisions were because of my own. The other 50 was because I got that shoe that landed right there, that knocked some sense into me. So everything that we learned, I want to pour back into all the young brothers and sisters out here, coming up, and not just brothers and sisters. We are Latino brothers and sisters out here too, because they're a part of the part of the demographic. We share this community, with them. So it's not just about us. We say it, but it's not just about us. It's pouring into the community as a whole. I'm looking at resources as like, when's the last time you heard of the Boys and the Girls Club doing anything? The Girls Club doing anything? When's the last time you heard of a church outing? And when you have a church outing, you got to go get a live scan because, humanity is just so horrible nowadays that, you got to be legally checked out to go hang out, with kids. We gotta get back into the roots, and the roots is what was poured into us from generation to generation to generation. And we can't be selfish and keep hoarding that stuff, man. I mean, there's a lot of talented adults on top of these brainiac kids that are running around here nowadays. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of information that can be poured into, and we gotta stop hoarding it and share it. And not be scared to walk up to these kids. And number one, ourselves. I was thinking about a project, not too long ago called Hello. You know what I'm saying? When's the last time you went to a brother on the street, just said, hey, brother, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? We got to stop breaking that line, that tradition of just, doing this. Say hello, speak. Let's break the ice and start communicating with each other, man. And it would be so much better, in our neighborhood. We would hear less and less of these, horrific crimes that's going on and murders. And, I never thought gang activity would last this long in this city, but here we are in 2024 and it's running rampant.
Man,
I just wish that we would just continue to pour into our youth, our community, and stop hoarding with everything that we've learned from generation to generation, you know what I'm saying? And just holding on to it. These kids are starving for this stuff, for this knowledge.
Yeah, you're right, brother. And I think that one of the things that you said, just I'm gonna pass this over to Razak, but when you said Big Mama is gone, I my sister talks about that a lot, and how much people are forgetting. It relates to the legacy. It relates to all of the cooking recipe. It relates to family. Do you know who your cousins are? Do you know
Mm-hmm.
everybody in your in your family circle? And Big Mama kept all that together because everybody came to see her. And when everybody came to see her, that's when you saw your cousin. That's when you saw Jimmy, that was way in the other side of town, that he only
Yeah,
came
yeah.
down once a year, and he showed up on Christmas. He like, oh, he know everybody, but he don't show up in any other time. Uncle never came in, but he only comes out when he's out of his business, and he finally comes to the house. Big Mama's not there. So how do
Mm-hmm.
we get that back, and how do we get our families back into understanding the importance of unity? Because once we lose that, once
Yeah.
that's gone, and we start to thin it out, then that's when I'm gonna say, like, the white folks gonna come in and take your property. They're gonna come in and take your land. They're gonna come in and take your business. They're gonna come in and take everything that your family has worked so hard to move you in the position to try to grasp. So it's important for people to hear that the family, the Black family, the minority family, all of us we have to continue to tell our kids, and that get your ass in here, and you're gonna know who everybody is. You know what's going on. You're gonna know who
Mm-hmm.
your uncle is. And you know what? Get in this kitchen, boy. You finna learn how to cook. Or boy, get underneath this car. You're gonna learn how to, change this oil. It's still, we gotta be a little more firm, and still letting
Yeah.
these kids sit back and do this all day on their phone. And they don't
Teach
want
them
to
the
get off
manners.
their phone. So,
Manners. Yeah. Manners make the
so
man.
it's
Manners make man.
yeah, that's right, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I'll go send you back over to Razak.
Man, I just liked how you're giving back. A lot of times when we started the podcast, actually when I first started meeting uh Keith, and we was going on, what is the how are we gonna, do the podcast and stuff like that. I always say the ground level. What I mean? I used to always drill that to him, what I mean, about, the people that are in the community are the ones, because a lot of these podcasts, that and I really don't enjoy looking at other people's podcasts, but the ones that I've seen, they're always chasing down the celebrity guy. They're always just the famous athlete that's been
Mm-hmm.
on 50,000 shows already. You got a whole team of members, but you only got one person that they're actually showing as the person that they're always interviewing, like the other members didn't help him go to the basket or something. And I wanted to apply that to the community. Like, what I mean, how are these Black businesses, how are these minority businesses, how are they working in the community? How are they, who is the person that we might pass this place all the time, or you might go in here and eat at this place, or we might see these guys over here. And I wanted to maybe emphasize that the community is made up of people who not only didn't go to jail,
Yes.
they didn't become drug addicts, didn't become a gang member and stuff. They worked and they survived in the hood, what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, and they had a business. Who are these people? What I mean, why are we only being shown the people that's the criminal nature, or the
Yeah.
rapper? What I mean, who are the other people that make up the community? What I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so I was like, well, let's go and let's grab these people, people such as yourself. What I mean, you had mentioned earlier a lot of people from childhood, and I don't know about Keith, but a lot of people, from my childhood and stuff, a lot of those guys are dead now. What I mean? So, and it's like it's not that I'm necessarily made all the right choices all the time. What I mean? But it's just like you're not making those bad choices that end up
Yeah.
being death or prison forever. What I mean? So it's like, okay, well, let's try to grab these people and see if we could turn you into a celebrated person. Like you said before, and a lot of people
Right,
other than
right,
that,
right.
let's celebrate you. We don't have to wait for your birthday. We don't have to worry about Christmas and all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If and this is what I only like about, I only like celebrating birthdays and holidays and stuff like that, because it's all based on one time out this entire year. Like, this is the time we
Mm-hmm.
celebrate you. Nah, we need to grab you on any of these other days and say you're still worthy of that celebration. Let's give you a gift on here. It ain't nowhere near your birthday. Let's celebrate you today that you're
Yeah.
alive and that you're doing well. Let's celebrate, and this is a way how we gonna give back. How we can bring you guys to the forefront and say that these are the people that are in your community that's making your community pop, that's keeping it together, and you don't even know your neighbor over here, it has a business over here, and he's funding in the sense like what you're doing and going down there and helping out the homeless. When in the sense of networking, I wonder if we can probably we'll probably have to do some searching for that. Maybe do like a drive for, actually we'll have to ask you probably later on what is needed. Do they need socks? Can we get these guys, shirts or something like that? Let's see if we can collaborate something. And that's if you haven't found the people already, and even if you have, it's just more of a need for it. That means it's not all the pressures on them. You have somebody else that can do something in too. And I just like to hear stories like yourself, where you are making a meaningful impact, and you enjoy doing that. And it wasn't no push, and you're able to do it because it's the person that you became to be, come through life experiences. And I thank you again for coming on the podcast.
I really appreciate you, brothers, man. I had you guys were talking about, we might be on here an hour and a half, and I'm looking at 2 hours and 11 minutes, man. And I feel like, come on, brother. I mean, we having some good conversation. I'm enjoying, this camaraderie, bro. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
I really am.
Yeah.
This was a good
I appreciate
show.
it, man. We are too. We are too, man. That's what it's about. And, and go ahead, Razak.
No, I was going to say on that note, we are putting together, little conference calls and meeting things and mentorships. And there's this one individual who we need to get in contact with. He does something for the youth and stuff like that too. We have to call him and see if he wants to come on the show. And even if he doesn't be able to come on the show, maybe we can have, some of you guys, the vendors and some people that already do this and already want to do this. Maybe we can set up something with him to where when some of these youths and stuff that he councils, they have it's like a conference of youth from all different minority areas, urban areas and stuff like that. And he does something, he puts together little things like that. And the last one that we had, we tried to talk to him, but he was a little bit busy. It was kind of odd. Sometimes us, just like, getting you on, sometimes we call and it's like out the blue. It's like you're thinking like, what is this? What are we going to do? Just like you were saying, people don't realize, the exposure that we're trying to give. It doesn't necessarily mean that you about to get, thousands of customers now. That is the goal. Hopefully you are, but at the same time, we want you to be known as far as who are you. Not only that you just do, you got these great looking displays of meat and it tastes good, and you got these things, but who you are as a person makes you want to go and call you and say, hey, I got an event coming up. This is what I want you to do. This is what's available. Because now we know the person behind the business. Like we can go to like Walmart or one of these other stuff. We go to the liquor store, and you get some sodas or something. You just go in there and just buy this and stuff and going out. But we don't know that what you're buying, it could be feeding his whole family, generations of family. And we don't know what he could have a sick mother or something like that. We just don't never know. And I was always like pushing like, well, let's find out. Let's go ask them some questions.
Dive. Yeah. Yeah. That's submarine talk. Dive. Yeah.
No, and every time you go to these vending, events, there's always somebody else that you see there. And high in passing, like, oh, I seen this guy at the last one. I seen this guy at the last one. But do we know him? So let's like bring that out and like, okay, well, let's start the conversation going of who are you and how can we, I guess, collaborate. Maybe a discount or something, or pass over this and pass over this, and that way we can generate a double advertising, double, marketing to where, like we have the clothing Joy Be Love, like you go and get buy some clothing and get a discount on the food or something like that, or you go to the event. We can also where did you go to we went to Joy Be Love, and we got a little discounted card to go to the gym, big gyms, or we ate a plate, and now you got something that you know what I'm saying, like something to balance
small business
it all out.
pop up to where everybody is moving and shaking around and benefiting from everybody, every service, every opportunity. Network.
Yeah, that's it.
That's what we're trying to build. That's exactly what we're trying to build. And all the people that have come and got all these different experiences, all these different types of business, but I guarantee you that there will be places that, because you've been to K pop-up, that's where I met you at, and practically everybody has been on the show, so they know your food already. They already been buying your food. I see them over there. I was like, God dang, man, I was over there. My sister went over there and got
rolled out.
I want to get back into the restaurant business. They were Mexicans carrying out your food through six in the tray. I was like, well, they got like six freaking trays over there. Where they going? They coming in and getting it and going. So, I mean, this whole thing is what we're trying to do. We're trying to build back, this community and uplift it. But like you say, Mama's gone, so we got to do a lot of the work to show, and people got to be able to see, right? They, in our culture, we don't, I didn't see you doing it. They got to see, and this is what this is about, is to try to make sure we're able to, shine and put those stars out there, the real stars, which is people on the ground level, the people that are actually doing all the hard work, and that's you. So, I can't tell you how much I appreciate you coming on, taking the time to come on, and, hooking up and keeping your word. You said you'd do it. Give me a call. When I got time, I'll do it. I got jury duty, whatever it is, I'll hook up, and we'll get it done. And I know, the expectations.
That was horrible.
That's a whole different life by itself. But I know the expectations of, coming on these kind of shows. Oh man, yeah, that's all right. You got your $5. They don't give you much for jury duty, but you're a good man. So, you're a good man, and you're honoring your community in that way too. So, you stand out there and doing the right thing. And that is to be praised as well, and like you say, your service and everything you did for the for this country and for your family, and for yourself as well, is to be praised too. So I'm just like I say, grateful that you came on to the KF&JF podcast. I know Razak feels the same way. We both do, and we like to invite you back any other time. We could talk about anything. It doesn't have to be business. It could be just whatever's new, I just want you to, so give us a couple last words on yourself, and then also take the time to look into the camera and put your name of your business, your website, and everything out there, and whatever else you would like to say.
Well, first and foremost, brothers, I really, really, really appreciate this platform. I didn't know what to expect, and rather than sit around like, I wonder if this, just do it. Just do it. I mean, a few minutes out of my day is not going to kill me. And I really thank you guys. You guys helped me to dig really deep into my core, and help me to be honest, and help me to be forthright and forthcoming, about myself. I'm really thankful to be a part of this community, to be a son of San Diego, a son of Southeast San Diego. And I am proud of it. I'll wear a Southeast Dago shirt all day long, because I'm proud of the dirt that I come from. And when I say dirt, that's in a good context. I'm proud of the church that I belong to. I'm proud of the family that I was born into. I'm proud of the house that I live in, on the block that I live in, which we call Southeast Dago. I'm so proud to live where I am and walk the streets where I walk. And I pray that my words and whatever I've said will help you to be proud of where you come from. There's a lot of history. There is a lot of things in Southeast San Diego to be proud of. And I, for one, am proud of everything that has come out of this city. I praise these two brothers here, for this platform that they have, come up with, to be able, like I said, to be able to talk and dig down deep. I'm happy to show you what I can do, what I've been blessed with. I pray that I'm able to continue, what I'm doing, and ultimately what I put on a plate helps me to put something on a plate for somebody else who's less fortunate. So, whatever you have, to offer, whatever ideas, we're a community and we listen to each other. I listen to you, you listen to me, and I'm totally grateful and thankful. So from me to you, Jason Sevier, born and raised here in San Diego. I'm the pit master owner of Big Jim's Barbecue and Catering Company. My number is somewhere down, floating across the screen. I come to you, you come to me, wherever you guys are having your events at. I'm fully licensed, everything, health permit. I have all the equipment, whatever you can think of. I can definitely accommodate. And if I couldn't accommodate it, we'll make accommodations to accommodate you. So, like I said, I'm thankful to be here. I'm blessed by the best. And like I said, I'm ready, willing, and able to go into conversation and network with everybody that has the same goals and mindset. All right. God bless you, your families, and let's stay focused and one day at a time. Keep it simple, stupid. And no pun intended with that last word.
Thank you so much, man. And, from one San Diego to another, everything I know all about where you are, what you're doing. And I can't tell you that I'm so happy that you came on, because all it did was allow me to talk a little bit about my time down there. So I really appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again, and also seeing that, everything you do in the future and the blessings that you will be able to give your community as you grow in your business. So thank you so much, brother.
Thank you, brothers. I really appreciate you guys. And this is awesome work.
Thank you.